After a historic four-day battle, the House returning to business amid a potential hurdle over the rules package. This coming as President Biden travels to Mexico City to meet his Mexican and Canadian counterparts. Our team coverage begins right now with AMH in Mexico City and Emily Wilkins in Washington. Annmarie, first to you. Walk us through the president's agenda through the next couple of days.
Well, Jonathan, this afternoon he's going to be joining along with First Lady Jill Biden, really just a welcoming ceremony by AMLO. And then him and AMLO will have the Mexican president, Manuel Lopez Obrador, more colloquially known as AMLO. They will have their own bilateral meeting. And really the focus of this meeting, Jonathan, is going to be migration. They just struck this deal last week that the president announced. Mexican officials are also on board with this deal. On top of that, another big one is going to be shared security. And the White House talks about the fact that they are going to talk about the fentanyl crisis. Mexico, Jonathan, you can imagine, is going to point to the fact that they just got a huge arrest with El Chapo's son, which the U.S. has put pressure on Mexican authorities because they consider him one of the major traffickers when it comes to fentanyl. This is a huge issue in the United States with John Kirby, Admiral Kirby of the National Security Council, talking about the fact on Friday that since August, they saw an increase, and what the Border Patrols have been able to take in is 20,000 pounds of fentanyl. On top of all that, when it comes to the drug trafficking, migration, then they will talk about trade. One of the big disputes Canada, Jonathan, and the United States have with Mexico is some nationalist policies when it comes to energy.
Emily, 2 points there. The first one was the border. The second one was trade. The Republicans want to focus firmly on the first one, on the border. Emily, how united do you think Republicans can be in the year ahead?
Well, certainly Republicans are united on some measures. We're likely to see that later today with a vote on the rules package. There have been some Republicans who have raised concerns, but at this point, it is expected to pass. We're also going to see Republicans come together today. You remember that funding that Democrats passed that gives more money to the IRS? Well, Republicans will be voting today to withdraw that money. Now, of course, that's not likely to pass the Senate or get to Biden's desk, but it's going to start being things that show that Republicans are more united. I think the biggest questions looming over everyone right now, and Republicans have told me they're very aware of this, are things about the debt limit. They might not be happening for a number of months, but we've already heard lawmakers like Chip Roy come out and say we need to start working on it now so we don't go down to the final minute. And I've had lawmakers like Patrick McHenry tell me this is really one of the most important things that Republicans need to do. So I think some things on their agenda you're going to see a lot of unity on. The question is really those big bills that are going to sort of make or break the U.S. in the next year.
AMH, is this president ready for a debt ceiling fight later this year?
Well, we already heard from Karine Jean-Pierre, the president's press secretary, speaking to reporters on Air Force One during Biden's trip to El Paso yesterday, Jonathan, and she said that they will not allow this issue to be hostage-taking. What the Republicans want is something we have to see the Democrats potentially negotiate on and something they do not want to do. Republicans basically are saying if you want us to be able to lift the debt ceiling, then we need concessions from you when it comes to spending. And that is why this is going to be a huge fight, because the Democrats obviously have control of the Senate, but the Republicans just have a very slim majority in the House.
AMH in Mexico City will catch up with you over the next day or so. Emily Wilkins, good to have you back.